Good afternoon. My name is Lori Van Edren, and I am the Interim Associate Provost for University Outreach and Engagement. My pronouns are she, her. Welcome to the 2022 Michigan State University Outreach and Engagement Awards ceremony. This is always a celebratory day for us because it gives us the opportunity to recognize outstanding partnerships and meaningful collaborations. As we navigate another unusual year, it's important that we make time to congratulate those who are sustaining and nurturing effective partnerships. We gather to honor some of the most impactful, innovative, and frankly, inspiring work happening in partnerships among faculty, staff, students, communities, organizations, agencies, businesses, schools, and the public. Our award recipients also represent so many others who are working to meet the urgent challenges of our times and make a difference in the world that we share. University community engagement has the potential to create transformational change while addressing large-scale problems in society's most challenging issues. At Michigan State University, we've embraced an approach to engagement that arises directly from our commitment to public access and land-grant traditions. Most of you know that MSU was one of the first land-grant institutions established under the Federal Morrill Act of 1862. A fundamental part of MSU's history is that the university was established on the ancestral, traditional, and contemporary lands of the Anishinaabe Three Fires Confederacy of Ojibwe, Odawa, and Potawatomi peoples. In particular, the university resides on land ceded in the 1819 Treaty of Saginaw. As an institution, and especially as partners with the larger community, we must be mindful of the historical cost of our institution while honoring the critical public mission. As a land-grant institution, it's our responsibility to ensure that the university's research knowledge, educational experiences, and other resources are integrated with the needs of the larger community, and MSU has a rich history of doing just that. So we're both proud of the mission and accomplishments of our institution in working with the people of Michigan, and also invested in expanding our understanding of what it means to have a history that contributed to the disenfranchisement of the original occupants of this land. Engaged research, engaged creative activities, engaged teaching, and engaged service are driven by community-identified questions and needs. These partnerships are expected to be reciprocal, benefiting all partners, building on community's assets, and requiring co-development and ongoing collaboration to be successful and meaningful. Many of us understand how rewarding it is to work with researchers, staff, students, and external partners who want to find solutions to the world's challenges, whether it's focusing on community growth after a natural disaster, combating stereotypes, bringing awareness to students' internet connectivity issues, or advocating to destigmatize access to care for HIV patients. We respond to what's needed. We welcome the chance to work with people in their communities who know those challenges inside and out and trust us to acknowledge and elevate their experience and expertise in our work together. So today, we welcome you and thank you for joining us in paying tribute to members of the faculty, academic staff, students, and the wider community whose outstanding efforts to integrate university knowledge with community knowledge impact us all. I encourage you to read the descriptions of their work on the University Outreach and Engagement website or in the award ceremony program booklet at the link that will be provided in the chat. I think you'll agree that these individuals and partnerships are exceptional in their scholarship and their contributions toward making the world a little bit better. And before we begin, I want to acknowledge that this is the second and hopefully last time that we're holding this award ceremony by video conference. We've practiced our Zoom skills and rehearsed the ceremony, but there may be transition delays, unintended muting issues, etc., for which we ask your patience. Lastly, please be aware that the ceremony is being recorded for archiving on the web. Now we'll watch a brief video from Teresa K. Woodruff, Provost and Executive Vice President for Academic Affairs, Michigan State University, for welcoming remarks.
Thank you, Dr. Van Egren, and thank you for your leadership of our Office of University Outreach and Engagement. Many thanks also to all of you joining us to recognize and celebrate this year's award recipients. It is always a pleasure to applaud the exceptional work of our faculty, staff, students, and community partners. Community outreach and engagement really is central to MSU's mission and core values as the nation's premier land-grant institution, and is the high call of our mission to not just learn, but to also do. And it is in this praxis of knowledge that the university continues to be relevant, to perpetually renew itself, and to expand its impact and reach. We place a premium on collaboration with and within communities to identify problems from our scholarly work, to learn of problems from the community, and to then find solutions that produce knowledge and results for the community members in whose interests we work. Indeed, community-engaged scholarship and research have received increasing national and international attention for their many multiplier effects that extend well beyond their initial impact. These rewarding collaborations enhance research outcomes, promote community well-being, and assist in developing and maintaining long-term connections between the university and communities. Martin Luther King Jr. once said, "Life's most persistent and urgent question is, what are you doing for others?" To the award recipients being honored today, you have answered that question with conviction and resolve. You have answered it by way of your many achievements that have made impactful contributions in so many communities. In so doing, you serve as admirable role models for all of us. You are each richly deserving of recognition and praise and of the awards you are receiving today. So on behalf of Michigan State University, I extend our collective thanks and congratulations to each of you for your exemplary work and commitment to the greater good.
Again, thank you for your patience as we work through technological issues. We warned you. Although she was unable to attend today, we do want to thank Provost Woodruff for her remarks. Always, we're inspired by the optimism, enthusiasm, and energy that comes from students. We begin our awards program today by introducing some remarkable MSU students who have demonstrated tremendous commitment to community engagement. They've each volunteered hundreds of hours of their time and represent MSU students who have collectively committed thousands of hours to communities. Please join me in welcoming Alan R. Shaw, Assistant Vice President for Student Involvement and Leadership.
Thank you, Dr. Van Egeren, and welcome everybody for being here at the awards ceremony. And on behalf of the new Division of Student Life and Engagement, I want to congratulate all our student award winners as well as all our award winners, and welcome you to this event. Student Life and Engagement is one of the places where the university comes together with University Outreach and Engagement to work with the Center for Community Engaged Learning. And we so appreciate the work that they do in the oldest center in the country that wins many, many awards. So thank you to the Center for Community Engaged Learning and also to University Outreach and Engagement for such a great partnership. Again, thank you to all the work that our student, staff, and faculty do in outreach and engagement. And again, I just want to congratulate our outstanding students for all of the work that they have done over this past year. And it's my pleasure to introduce Renee Brown, who is the director of the MSU Center for Community Engaged Learning. And thank you to Renee for all the work that you do.
Thank you, Dr. Shaw. Welcome, everyone. My name is Renee Brown. I'm the director of the Center for Community Engaged Learning at Michigan State University, and I use she, her pronouns. I am delighted to be here. I am always excited to hear the stories of students and student volunteers and the stories that they share with community partners. So we're very happy to be included in this awards ceremony so that we can share that all with you. Welcome on behalf of our center. This particular award that we are going to share today is the Spartan Volunteer Service Award. This award aims to connect students and community partners around shared missions and passions. It's set up and designed to help the Center for Community Engaged Learning also meet its mission of preparing students for lifelong and civic engagement. The history of this award is that the Spartan Volunteer Service Award is actually a presidential recognition. It celebrates MSU students' commitment to service and community engagement. By presidential, this is a partnership with the MSU Office of the President as well. It is bestowed on students who serve more than 100 or more hours during the course of an academic year. We first started giving this award in the 17-18 academic year, and it was really something that was developed out of wanting to recognize students for all of the contributions that they make with community partners and for their contributions to community overall. For the 2020-2021 year, there were 76 students who received this award, and they are honored on an event with President Samuel Stanley on January 21st. I'd like to say thank you so much to the students who have volunteered and those who are with us tonight. Your efforts make a real difference in communities, and we know that this is just the beginning of your contributions over the course of your lifetime. So thank you, and we're very proud of you. We're Spartan proud of you. It's my pleasure now to welcome my colleague, Christopher Keaton, Casey Keaton. He will be introducing the representative recipients of the Spartan Volunteer Service Awards, who we honor today. Thank you, Casey, for all of your efforts to support and manage this program, and welcome.
Shall I fix your plate, or you want to get it yourself?
I'm good. I will help myself.
Thank you, Renee. Thank you everyone for being here tonight, and congratulations to all the award recipients. Again, my name is Casey Keaton. I'm a program manager within the Center for Community Engaged Learning. I'm also the program manager for the Spartan Volunteer Service Award, as Renee has stated. In our center, we have the privilege of working with students like those being honored and recognized tonight each day. The favorite part of my work is to work with exceptional students doing wonderful work in the community. I am also responsible for connecting students and community partners as it pertains to volunteering and service. As Renee noted, the Spartan Volunteer Service Award recognizes students who invest 100 or more hours in community service during an academic year. Representative of all 2020-2021 award recipients, the students we are honoring tonight committed the most time to service, 650 or more hours in a year. That's remarkable. They include the following students who will also appear on the screen: Shanawar Lone, Elizabeth Sachs, Amir, Tavakoli, and Alexandra Wallman. If we could give those students a virtual round of applause, or a wave, or a thumbs up, it's much appreciated, I'm sure. And now I am pleased to introduce Shanawar Lone, an outstanding representative of all Spartan Volunteer Service Award recipients, to say a few words. Shanawar?
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much. Hi, everyone. My name is Shanawar Lone, and I'm a third-year law student here at MSU. I am very honored to be here today to receive the Spartan Volunteer Service Award. These awards are about inspiring other people, and I encourage my peers, especially those that are law students and in the legal field, to help others in need and not forget why you came to law school in the first place. Of course, you don't have to be a law student or have a leadership position to make a difference. Each of us, no matter what we do or who we are, can do something to help our community and make the world a better place. As President Kennedy once said, one person can make a difference, and everybody should try. Are words that we should all live by every single day. Yes, we're all busy, but we all can make the time. You can do more. We all have a solemn obligation, especially as students and young adults, to make a difference in our society and help our peers along the process. I have been involved with a variety of organizations and leadership positions in the community during my time here at MSU. While I enjoyed all of them, one in particular I enjoyed the most is an organization that I created last winter called MSU Law Democrats, where I was able to help increase the College of Law and MSU community in participation in democratic affairs, including voter education, advocacy, and policy and leadership skills. Some guests we've had include Joe Kennedy, Senator Gary Peters, Governor Jim Blanchard, and a variety of other nationally recognized leaders. Thank you all for coming here today. I would like to thank the University Outreach and Engagement and the Center for Community Engaged Learning for the opportunity to receive this award. I also would like to thank Dean Ferguson of the College of Law for coming to support me here tonight. Additionally, I would like to thank my mentors and my professors at the College of Law, Professors Brian Cole and Kevin Gentry, for supporting me during my time here at MSU. I would like to end with one last quote by a 44th President of the United States, Barack Obama. Change will not come if we wait for some other person or some other time. We are the ones we've been waiting for. We are the change that we seek. So please be that change and make a difference in the best way that you know how. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Shanawar. Those are words to live by for sure. Thank you for being with us tonight too. And thank you, KC. In honor of their commitment to service, University Outreach and Engagement is donating $250 to a community organization of each student's choice. This year's recipients include the Sexual Assault Crisis Intervention Team at MSU, MSU's Law, Diversity, and Equity Services Online, and the Sparrow Foundation's Oncology and Cancer Services. Please join me in a round of applause, waves, woot woots to all of our Spartan Volunteer Awards this evening. Congratulations. And now I'm going to turn it back to Dr. Lori Van Egren.
Thank you, Renee and all. I am delighted to say that for the second year, the Office of the Associate Provost for University Outreach and Engagement and the Graduate School have collaborated to administer a recognition program aimed at honoring the work of graduate and graduate professional students who distinguish themselves through scholarly community engagement. It's my pleasure to introduce Eric K. Torn, Responsible Administrator and Associate Dean of the Graduate School, who will present the Graduate Student Awards for Community Engagement Scholarship.
Thank you, Lori. Community Engaged Scholarship and University Outreach are foundational to the mission of Michigan State University. The character of the university is deeply shaped by its commitment to working with those outside of the academy to address the concerns of the world around us. For this reason, it is particularly appropriate and gratifying to honor and promote the ways in which so many students contribute to this work during their years of graduate study. Nominees for the Graduate Student Award for Community Engagement Scholarship are expected to be master's or doctoral students in one of MSU's degree-granting colleges who have collaborated with off-campus community partners in community-engaged research, creative activity, teaching, and/or service while enrolled in graduate study at Michigan State University. Students may be nominated by faculty, administrators, community partners, or peers, and self-nominations are also welcome. A selection committee of faculty and academic staff review the nominations and competitively select recipients. Recipients receive a plaque to memorialize their accomplishment and a $750 stipend. This year, for the first time, the award will be conferred upon 3 graduate students for outstanding community engaged scholarship. It is now my distinct pleasure to announce the recipients of the 2022 Graduate Student Awards for Community Engagement Scholarship. Wilfredo Flores, College of Arts and Letters, for his work entitled Queering Medicine Intake Form Guidance for Providers. Sharika Botex, College of Arts and Letters, for her work entitled Shaping Society Through Scholarship and Action. And Kaylee Ward, College of Social Science, for her work entitled Reviving Community, Rebuilding Social Recovery in Rural Post-Disaster Japan. We'll hear from each recipient, starting with Wilfredo, followed by Sharika, then Kaylee.
Hi, can everybody hear me okay? Thumbs up. Awesome. Thank you so much for this award. It means a lot to see the work that I and Queering Medicine have done for the last 4 going on 5 years take root, see the work take root and flourish. I'd like to thank the folks who selected me, the people that I've worked with here at MSU and in the Writing, Rhetoric, and American Cultures department, my mentors, Estrella Torres and Dylan Miner, for showing me what community work can look like and how you can do it ethically and responsibly. And to Mauricio Franco, Gray Pierce, Sin Brown, and all the other folks at Queering Medicine who've helped me do this wonderful work. I guess I don't want to take up too much time, but I would just like to end with a quote from trans historian Gil Malantino, who says that trans and queer work labor occurs in the street, in the club, the bar, the clinic, and the community center. And those are all spaces that I've found where community work can really thrive and flourish beyond the clinical gaze. But also the home, which is often, as Malantino says, a site of rejection and discomfort and abuse. And I mentioned that deliberately, as my home state of Texas is undergoing some changes that foreclose what would otherwise be happy and healthy living. So I guess I just want to end by saying that I'm hoping that this work engenders more happiness for the folks that need it the most. So yeah, thank you.
It is an honor to be here this evening with all of you. Congratulations to the other recipients of the Graduate Student Award, Wilfredo and Kaylee, for their community engagement, and to all the 22 award recipients and their community partners. I would like to express my gratitude to the University Outreach and Engagement Office for the honor of being awarded the 2022 Graduate Student Award for Community Engagement, for shaping society through scholarship and action, and Dr. Denise Troutman, Dr. Natasha Jones, Dr. Reverend Versi Williams, and Ms. Fonda Brewer for their roles in nominating me for the award. Shaping society through scholarship and action was possible because of the contributions and support of everyone who participated in the event and all the people who supported it, including many who are here tonight. The event was a celebration of the scholarship of Black women scholars doing community engaged work and scholarly activist work that's focused on Black people and their experiences, and whose work evidences their commitment to positively contributing to their community. The event was also a celebration of and presentation of university and local community organizations who are essential and committed to serving their communities, providing resources, programming, and engaging in work focused on enhancing people's experiences. Panelists offered insights about their journey, work, aspirations, people, and experiences that influence them, and the work and the people and purposes their work serves. The university and community organization representatives discussed their organization's mission, past and current projects and initiatives, and engaged in meaningful dialogue that evidenced the commonalities and differences in their work, community-focused work and activisms, and shed light on the possibilities for collaborating to work towards common goals, along with show the productivity of supporting people and organizations in their work and endeavors. I would like to spotlight the work of those who were involved because, again, it wouldn't be possible without them. The 2-day event featured panels that included Dr. Troutman and Dr. Jones, which were moderated by PhD candidate Constance Haywood, a panel moderated by PhD candidate Olivia Furman, who facilitated a conversation between Dr. Tamara Butler and Elizabeth Stepnowski, who's a former coordinator of Slug Gardens. On day 2 of the event, Dr. Ruth Nicole Brown and Dr. Tamira Lomax were on a panel that I had the pleasure of moderating. And the event included with a university and organization resource panel, which raised awareness about support, resources, and opportunities for the local Black community and the Black community at MSU. The event took into consideration local and national experiences, issues, and initiatives to aid in supporting the progress and prosperity of Black people, and also featured discussions of efforts to address racism, systematic oppression, and other ills and isms. The resource panel featured Dr. Chandra Marshall, representing the MSU Black alumni, Jalea Rutledge, representing the Black Graduate Student Association, Reverend Verse Williams, representing the Lansing NAACP and their education committee, and Carrington Kelsey, representing Lansing Black Lives Matter and One Love Global. Again, I would like to extend my gratitude and share special thanks to Constance Haywood for creating the flyers and moderating Dr. Brown's, Lomax, Troutman, Jones, and Butlers for their feedback, support, and contributions as panelists, which evidence the mentoring and the support that are part of the ongoing work of the event. Olivia for moderating and for, as Dr. Troutman did, helping me make contact with local organizations. Kelsey for representing Lansing Black Lives Matter and One Love Global and sharing resources, which was a huge part of the event that all panelists contributed to in some way. Dr. and Reverend Versi Williams for representing the Lansing NAACP, Dr. Marshall for representing MSU Black alumni and also serving to help moderate some of the discussions during the event. Dr. Butler for adding a creative touch to the presentation slides, Elizabeth for serving as a panelist and sharing resources, and Jalea, another graduate student, for serving as a panelist and sharing information about BGSA. Along with this, people like Dr. Diane Dobermeck provided feedback, and Dr. Bill Hart Davison provided support for my vision and feedback on the projects. Sponsors like the College of Arts and Letters and Writing, Rhetoric, and American Cultures Department, which I'm fortunate and blessed and thank God to be a part of, and the Leadership Institute for the fellowship that afforded me the opportunity to create and present the project. My family for continually supporting me, and the attendees whose presence and engagement contributed to what I hope is an ongoing dialogue about shaping society through scholarship and action. Everybody here, including the scholars who are being acknowledged tonight, are already doing this work, but we can all continue shaping society through scholarship and action. As you do, I encourage you to support the work of the people and organizations who participated in the event, and will share information in the chat for you to do that. Thank you all again for the honor of being here.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for being here today. My partners and I would like to extend our gratitude for receiving this award and the attention it has brought to legitimizing local issues in our community. My community partner, Place to Grow, and I began working together in 2014, and since then have continued to serve the needs of the residents of Minami-Sanriku, Miyagi, Japan. This community was unfortunately decimated by the 2011 Great East Japan earthquake, and our work has focused on creating community programs to support the well-being of residents. In my work with them, we've created research projects to better understand resident needs, concerns, and where there are gaps in information, power, and access to resources, as well as how to address these inequalities from a community perspective. In 2021, our work has connected some 28 groups across 3 prefectures, bridging 17 communities together. Between international schools, children's homes, and other nonprofits and community organizations, our work in 2021 reached over 3,000 children and families, providing educational and community building opportunities. In 2019 and 2020, in partnership with other local organizations, including Green Farmers Miyagi, Iriado, ESCA, Minami-Sanriku Junior Academy, and the Minami-Sanriku Tourism Association, and many, many others, we provided educational resources and materials to all the schools in the community, and also helped to organize a larger community-engaged research project. For our research, we focused on how rebuilding after the disaster has affected residents, especially considering that a decade had passed. We wanted to understand how residents are handling evolving local issues, new problems, and ones that are in transformation, who they collaborate with, engage with, and work with, how they receive assistance, and how to best address their concerns 10 years later. In doing so, we interviewed some 70 residents and sent out surveys to other members of the community, which helped us identify not only issues with community unity, but also helped us identify groups and areas that were still largely isolated from resources and other access to assistance. By doing so, we were able to provide evidence to the local government on the underserved needs of certain groups in the community, and were provided with a $10,000 grant to craft new and also improve existing programs to assist those who were isolated. Along with our research project, we also provided a variety of new community programs and resources, including leadership development workshops, youth leadership workshops, and other training workshops for other groups in the community, as well as interested residents. We also provided educational development activities, which included language exchange, cultural exchange, and fitness for children in the community, as well as public forums for residents to discuss and create creative solutions to the problems we found in our study. I want to thank you again for this award. I, Place to Grow, and all of our other partners who have worked over the years in this community are very excited to continue doing our community engaged work and supporting the recovery of the residents of Minami-Sanriku, as well as the next generation of the community. Thank you.
Wow, what an impressive group. Thank you to Wilfredo, Sharika, and Kaylee. Please join me once again in congratulating all 3 award recipients. Competition for the Graduate Student Award for Community Engagement Scholarship attracted an outstanding field of nominations, and the contributions of several other nominees were deemed to warrant special recognition. Upon the recommendation of the selection committee, the following students who will appear on screen are awarded commendations for exceptional effort in community engagement scholarship and will each receive a certificate and stipend of $250. Zoe Hansen, College of Natural Science, for her work, Girls Math and Science Day. Deborah Lynn Miller, College of Social Science, for her work, Core Therapist Skills and Training Methods Supporting the Implementation of Evidence-Based Practices with Severe Emotionally Disturbed Children in Community Mental Health Settings. And Ji Yoon Shin, College of Communication Arts and Sciences, for her work exploring experiential knowledge and assets of family caregivers. Descriptions of each student's community engagement are included in the award ceremony program and on the University Outreach and Engagement website. Please join me in congratulating all of the graduate students recognized today.
Thank you, Eric. What an inspiring group of emerging scholars and professionals. I think we can all expect much from them in the years to come. The MSU Distinguished Partnership Awards recognize highly engaged and scholarly community-based research, creative activity, teaching, and service collaborations, which positively impact both the community and scholarship. Recipients are selected annually as the best in each of these categories from among all nominees for the Michigan State University Community Engagement Scholarship Award, for which they are also named as finalists. I'd now like to introduce Quentin R. Tyler, Director of MSU Extension and Associate Dean and Director for Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion, College of Agriculture and Natural Resources, who will present the first of our Distinguished Partnership Awards.
Yeah, so thank you, Lori. The Distinguished Partnership Award for Community Engaged Service recognizes a university community partnership for significant, contextually responsive, scholarly, and impactful collaboration in the utilization of scholarly expertise to address specific issues, whether it be ad hoc or long-term, identified by individuals, organizations, agencies, industries, or communities. Community engaged service may include, but is not limited to, such activities as technical assistance, consulting, policy analysis, expert testimony, legal or other professional practice-based advice, diagnostic and clinical services, human and animal patient care, service on advisory boards, and disciplinary related service to community organizations. For its far-reaching impacts on identifying internet connectivity issues of school students in rural areas and continually working to improve digital equity and inclusion, I am honored to present the 2022 Distinguished Partnership Award for Community Engaged Service to Critical Connections, Broadband Access, Student Learning Outcomes, and Community Development. Accepting the award is Johannes M. Bauer and Keith Hampton of the College of Communication, Arts and Sciences, and their partners, Charlotte Bewersdorf, Vice President for Community Engagement, Merit Network Incorporated, John Eaglehoff, Executive Director, Southwest Michigan Planning Commission, Ben Feynman, President of Michigan Broadband Alliance and Vice President at Washtenaw County Broadband Task Force, Jason Cronemeyer, Director of Technology and of the Regional Education Media Center 22, Eastern Upper Peninsula Immediate School District, Joe Sawaski, President and CEO of Merit Network Incorporated, Fred Sharpenstein, Director of Technology, the Coastal Escola Intermediate School District, and Brenda Tenniswood, Director of Education Services, St. Clair County Regional Education Service Agency.
Wow.
So thank you very much, Quentin. Thank you to Michigan State University Outreach and Engagement. And then on behalf of our group, I'm very pleased to accept this award. It really motivates us to keep going with the project that started about 5 years ago. It's a large group of people, as you can see, that initially started with a focus on K through 12 education, and then gradually over the years got broadened. The context, as Quentin mentioned, was a recognition that Michigan suffers from an egregious, unacceptable digital divide between those who have high-speed internet access and those who don't. It took the pandemic really to bring this very much to the forefront of our minds, how important broadband, as we commonly refer to, is. Now, broadband, mind you, was introduced 25 years ago, but today, 25 years later, 25 to 30% of Michiganders still do not have access to that essential service. And our project started out as an effort to help overcome that unacceptable digital divide by, first of all, getting a better sense as to who has and who has not access to broadband, which is one of the big flaws in our federal and state data that we currently have. And secondly, to work with community partners to find ways to reduce that gap going forward, to find sustainable and workable solutions. And I'll turn it over to Keith to say a little bit more about the K-12 initiative.
Thanks, Johannes. So we had many community partners in this project. Central to that was Joe Sawatsky, Charlotte Brewer Store, Pierrette Dag, and Merit Networks. And through our shared interest in this project, they introduced us to many new partners, including Jason Cronemeyer at the Eastern Upper Peninsula ISD, Brenda Tenniswood and Kevin Miller at the St. Clair County Regional Education Service Agency, and Fred Sharpenstein at the Mosacola Osceola ISD. It was through their roles as passionate advocates for students in some of Michigan's most rural school districts that the potential for impact of our partnership really began to emerge. And in 2018, we worked together to apply our experience at the Quello Center and the Department of Media and Information to pilot a new methodology that would improve the available data on inequalities that exist in the infrastructure for internet access in Michigan, and to make a compelling case for the cost of digital inequality to students of rural Michigan schools. And this collaboration has developed really into a lasting partnership, focusing first on the implications of discrepancies for home broadband access and student educational outcomes, and continuing as we work together now to understand how digital inequalities may be affecting rural students academically and socially over the pandemic. This collaboration really set the stage for how we have since broadened our partnership and activities of merit to include John Eaglehoff and the Southwest Michigan Planning Commission, Ben Feilman and the Washington County Broadband Task Force, and a growing list of county governments. So I'll turn this over to Charlotte at Merit.
Thank you, Dr. Bauer and Dr. Hampton. Merit's collaboration with the Quello Center really provided a unique opportunity to leverage Merit's extensive statewide community anchor community and the expertise of the Quello team to positively impact the digital divide in Michigan. As mentioned, our work started in 2018, and it was focused specifically on the measurement of the outcome impact of this homework gap. And it's continued to evolve and mature substantially to what it is today, which has essentially become a quest towards equitable connectivity for all Michiganders. Today, Merit's Moonshot Initiative provides support all across the state in areas of broadband mapping, broadband education, policy, funding, and infrastructure planning. Since June of 2020, Merit has continued this work in the broadband data collection space with Wayne State University, Saginaw Township, and the following counties: Washtenaw, Berrien, Ottawa, Calhoun, Benzie, and Livingston. And we're pleased to announce today that a study in Ingham County will be launched on March 13th, Michigan State's own county. So we're very excited about that work. So on behalf of Merit's leadership team, I'd really like to just acknowledge and thank the teams at Merit, many of us who supported this work, Merit's board of directors who really had a progressive vision to broaden our mission and see how our nonprofit organization could impact the digital divide. To our K-12 partners for your amazing collaboration. And thank you to Michigan State University for acknowledging this joint work and for pursuing research that serves as a catalyst for positive action. Most importantly, on behalf of Merit Network and our entire community, thank you to Dr. Bauer and Dr. Hampton and the entire team at the Quello Center. The need for accurate, granular, and unbiased broadband availability data really has never been greater, as we're upon one of the most significant infrastructure investments that our nation has ever seen. And great data is absolutely fundamental to the success of our nation's broadband expansion. So thank you.
And thank you, Johannes, Keith, and Charlotte for your words. So please join me in congratulating the Partnership for Critical Connections, Broadband Access, Student Learning Outcomes, and Community Development. It is my distinct pleasure to introduce Jabbar R. Bennett, Vice President and Chief Diversity Officer, to present the next award.
Thank you, Quinn. The Distinguished Partnership Award for Community Engaged Teaching recognizes a university community partnership for significant, contextually responsive, scholarly, and impactful collaboration in sharing knowledge with learners through formal or informal arrangements, whether credit-bearing, non-credit, guided by a teacher, or self-directed. Such work may take many forms, including pre-college and youth educational programs, occupational instruction and licensure programs, conferences, seminars, non-credit classes and workshops, educational enrichment programs for the public, media interviews, or translational writing for general public audiences, producing materials to enhance public understanding, and curating managed learning environments such as museums, libraries, and gardens. For its educational partnerships in combating stereotypes, elevating understanding, and encouraging conversations through a wide variety of cultural competency guides, I am pleased to present the 2022 Distinguished Partnership Award for Community Engaged Teaching to the Bias Busters Faith-Based Cultural Competence Guides, an Interfaith Publishing Alliance. And accepting the award is Joe Grimm from the College of Communication Arts and Sciences, with his partner, Raman Singh, President of Interfaith Council of Metropolitan Detroit. Please join me in congratulating Bias Busters Faith-Based Cultural Competence Guides.
Thank you. In accepting this award on behalf of the Interfaith Leadership Council of Metropolitan Detroit, I am grateful to Michigan State University and particularly Professor Joe Grimm for the opportunity to work with your journalism students on the Bias Busters series. We believe the vast majority amongst us want to understand each other rather than confront. Yet we create bias that fosters misunderstanding and division in society. Our work with Professor Grimm's Bias Busters has been an excellent opportunity to engage the extended community and journalists of the future with the facts about our religious cultures. The Interfaith Leadership Council is a network of networks connecting various faith constituencies in metropolitan Detroit. We offer religious diversity journeys, a well-respected religious literacy immersion program for middle school students, amongst other programs designed to engage adults so they understand the many compelling faith traditions in our community. Our work with Professor Grimm has extended to his role on the Advisory Committee for Faith and Works, our podcast. We share the belief that good journalism can and should increase cross-cultural competence, engagement, and understanding as a foundational block of a healthy society. This partnership between the Interfaith Leadership Council and Michigan State University is an ongoing and evolving example of how major institutions must live their values through collaboration to create stronger communities. We are pleased to share this award with Professor Grimm and look forward to future projects in this series. And I would like to ask Professor Grimm to share more information on the Bias Buster series. Joe?
Thank you. I am trying to share my screen here. Here we go. Thank you, Raman, and thanks to the IFLC board, its officers and staff for all you have done for the Bias Buster series of cross-cultural guides. Thanks also to University Outreach and Engagement, and congratulations to all of today's honorees. It is really exciting for us to be recognized with you. When we published our first Bias Busters book in 2013, we had modest goals. We wanted to use students to produce cross-cultural guides that would help people understand each other. We wanted to answer 100 basic questions about another group so that we could start to talk to people and would not have to be embarrassed or fear insulting somebody by asking questions in the wrong way. So we give starting answers, and we hope these lead to conversations. Our values were and are respect for our subject and our readers, accuracy and authenticity, and accessibility. We have now worked on more than 20 guides, and you can find almost that number in Amazon, print or digital formats, whatever you like. More than 250 students and 250 community allies have helped us for this. Our major partner is the IFLC. The IFLC gave us the idea and the encouragement and allies to embark on a sub-series of guides that now comprise half of our list. They are intended for interfaith dialogue. For the guides, we have had people come to our classroom, and here we are learning about the difference between cultural and religious objects associated with Judaism. We visit temples. This is a great thing to do with students. For many of them, it's the first time they've ever been in this space, and it can be transformational. We visit churches. We ask people, what do you think people ought to know about your faith traditions? Last year, we visited, this was 2 years ago, we visited a Buddhist temple. Last year, there were some surprises there. We visited a Gurdwara. One of our IFLC allies wrote, and Raman helped on this guide. One of the other people at the IFLC wrote, "This is one of the most accurate documents I have seen so far in a formal Western institution. Even in my world religions class in undergrad, I had to teach the professor what Sikhi was and tell him his information was incredibly inaccurate. Thank you for all that you do and for making such a genuine effort to accurately represent Sikhs." This is the guide. It'll be coming out soon. We just moved it into production. I think it's a really good looking guide and answers a lot of questions. Very interesting faith. U.S. Buddhist will be coming out late this year, maybe summertime, maybe fall. We are going to, well, this is one of our first guides in the series, the sub-series. On this guide, I was so happy and fortunate to have 20 allies, many of them from the IFLC, from different streams of Judaism, helping us get things right. It's essential to have that input. For the Chaldeans guide, and we are close to the Chaldean center, or capital, if you will, of the United States Chaldean community. For this guide, we visited the Chaldean Community Center. This week, the students are working on a guide about the Black church. And in fact, this week, we were changing the colors and the images on the cover to try to get it right. Our lead on this, our editor, is IFLC supporter Frida Sampson, who knows the church inside and out. She loves the Black church, and she's concerned about its future. She's giving us a lot of good guidance. We hope you like what you see here. In fact, we hope you like it so much that you'll want to get a copy of your own. And we're going to send you a copy. We'll send you a copy of the guide. Here's what you need to do. Just send me an email, jgrim@msu.edu, and we will send you your own Bias Busters guide. Then you will be part of our extended family of allies and supporters. Thank you so much for this opportunity. I look forward to sending you your own guide. Thank you.
Please join me once again in congratulating Bias Busters faith-based cultural guides. It is now my pleasure to introduce Francisco A. Villarreal, Interim Director of the William Samora Research Institute and Faculty Grievance Official.
Thank you, Jabbar. The Distinguished Partner Award for Community Engaged Creative Activity recognizes a university community partnership for significant, contextually responsive, scholarly and impactful collaboration in the creation of artistic or literary performances and expressions, such as collaboratively created, produced, or performed theatrical or musical performances, sculptures, novels, plays, poetry, and spoken words, films and documentary productions, multimedia, and exhibitions. For its collaborative effort with community organizations to develop a digital open access repository of Puerto Rican artifacts of disasters that can assist in implementing future disaster protocols based on local knowledge and community action, I am delighted to present the 2022 Distinguished Partnership Award for Community Engaged Creative Activity to the Partnership for Archivo de Respuestas y Emergencias de Puerto Rico. Accepting the award is Christina Boyles from the College of Arts and Letters, with her partner, Andy Boyles Patterson, from the Digital Scholarship Librarian in the MSU Libraries.
Thank you to all of you for having us. We are so honored to be here today, and congratulations to all of our fellow recipients. I want to start by thanking my collaborators, which includes 2 of the University of Puerto Rico campuses in Rio Piedras and Mayagüez, as well as 5 community organizations. ETS, an organization dedicated to educating people about responses to environmental disaster, including growing their own food and finding clean water supply. Operation Blessing, which provides education on how to build your own water filters so you can ensure that the water you have access to is safe. El Puente, which is an activist organization that participates in marches about the climate crisis, and most recently was at the protests in Scotland this past summer, as well as Comedores Sociales, which provides food distribution to Puerto Ricans. And lastly, our final group is, oh my goodness, is Junta Gente, which is a group of an umbrella organization for 30 activist groups in Puerto Rico. I am so grateful to them for entrusting me with their work, sharing their creative and innovative responses to disaster, and helping us share those with the world so that other communities who are likely to face similar circumstances as the effects of climate change worsen can receive thoughtful and creative and timely responses that might be effective in their own communities. I also want to acknowledge the work of the technical team, all of whom are located at MSU, with our technical director, Andy Boyles Peterson, being here with me today, as well as Elisa Landaverde and Robin Dean. Elisa is currently in the MSU libraries, and Robin Dean formerly was and has recently moved to Colorado because she received a very lovely promotion. So we are very proud of all of our team members. I am sorry to say that our Puerto Rican collaborators were unable to join us today, as each of our 5 nonprofit organizations are actively offering programming tonight to help their local communities. The work that they're doing that we are trying to share is something they're very committed to, and they're actively doing it as we speak. And so again, just feeling so honored to be working with them. The last thing I will say before we move on tonight is that given the circumstances that we are talking about recently in our world, about the dangers of imperialism, particularly in our conversations with Ukraine and Russia, I also want to point out Puerto Rico and the ways in which it's a twice colonized nation with many citizens who are subject to unfair practices and policies. Most recently, the junta, a board that was appointed by Congress to make many decisions for the people of Puerto Rico without their consent and without being elected. And this includes many public educators like us who just had their retirements gutted by the junta, as well as other effects like the closure of 1/3 of public schools in Puerto Rico, and of course, the slow and delay of many resources needed to recover from the disasters that they are experiencing. So if you are interested in learning more about these issues or in speaking out against the harms being done to US citizens, people who don't deserve to be going through what they are going through, please do reach out, as we are always happy to connect you to organizations who might be interested in partnering with you. And thank you so much again. We're so fortunate to be here.
Please join me in congratulating this truly outstanding partnership for Archivo de Respuestas y Emergencias de Puerto Rico. It is now my pleasure and honor to introduce Douglas A. Gage, Vice President, Office of Research and Innovation at Michigan State.
Thank you, Francisco. The Distinguished Partnership Award for Community Engaged Research recognizes a university community partnership for significant, contextually responsive, scholarly, and impactful collaboration in inquiry and the discovery of new knowledge and/or the development of new insights. This may be accomplished through community-based participatory research, participatory action research, applied research, contractual research funded by government agencies, non-government organizations, or businesses, demonstration projects, assets, and needs assessment, programs evaluations, and other forms of collaborative participatory inquiry. In recognition of its work, developing systems to monitor stigma and discrimination in the provision of HIV healthcare services, implementing sensitization trainings for healthcare workers, and improving access to HIV services, I am honored to present the 2022 Distinguished Partnership Award for Community Engaged Research to the advocacy and other community tactics to challenge barriers to HIV care for gay and bisexual men and transgender women. Project ACT. Accepting the award is Robin Lynn Miller from the College of Social Science, partner George Ayala with Impact Global Action for Gay Men's Health and Rights. Please join me. So please, Robin.
Thank you. Thank you very much for honoring Impact and me by recognizing our ongoing partnership and our shared work on Project ACT. Impact is a small human rights organization with an ambitious global mission to mobilize gay and bisexual men's leadership and work in coalition with other community-led organizations to secure their health and rights. The staff at Impact are an impressive group of experts in global health and human rights policy advocacy. I will be forever grateful for the opportunity to work shoulder to shoulder with my Impact colleagues, Omar Banos, Nadia Rafif, Stephen Leonelli, Mohan Sundararaj, Johnny Tome, and Greg Tartaglione. The academic community partnership Impact and I forged was long in the making and rests soundly on the foundation of my nearly 40-year relationship with its longest serving executive director, George Ayala. George and I have long believed in the need for a global research agenda that's relative and responsive to communities most affected by HIV, support for evaluations of community-led initiatives in balance to those that are expert-created, and inquiry practices that meaningfully engage communities from start to finish. Project ACT is not ours alone, but the collective work of civil society organizations led by members of the LGBT community in 7 countries and their local allies. There would be no Project ACT to speak of without them. We proudly share this honor with our colleagues at Affirmative Action in Cameroon, Alternative Côte d'Ivoire in Côte d'Ivoire, Amigos Siempre Amigos in the Dominican Republic, the Center for Popular Education and Human Rights Ghana in Ghana, J-Flag and Transwave in Jamaica, Movement pour les Libertés Individuelles in Burundi, and the Sexual Rights Center in Zimbabwe. The staffs in these agencies risk their safety and security every day to human rights of sexual and gender minority people ensure their access to healthcare. The risks they take are ever present and unimaginable to many of us who live here in the United States. They do their work under constant siege. The importance of generating local practice-based knowledge under the fraught circumstances in which my colleagues in Africa and the Caribbean operate is imperative to our ultimate success in ending the HIV epidemic. HIV remains the deadliest pandemic of modern times. An estimated 1.5 million people were newly infected with HIV in 2020 alone. About 65% of new infections globally occur among people subject to systemic, de jure, and de facto discrimination and societal stigma. Our partners work where their governments have ignored epidemics among sexual and gender minority people. They work where gay and bisexual men and transgender women are disproportionately represented among those who face extreme barriers to timely HIV testing and treatment and to biomedical and other prevention strategies. They work where the legal, social, and political climate is hostile towards their human rights. They work where they and their constituents must endure ongoing harassment and face threats to imprisonment, including imprisonment, torture, and death, sometimes at the hands of the agents of their own governments. Eliminating the stigma and discrimination and violence that impedes access to HIV services was the objective of Project ACT. With our international partners, we developed strategies to improve local conditions for gay and bisexual men and transgender women, and we studied those strategies and their consequences. We sought to learn what might work to create change in the face of extreme political and social hostility. We identified several promising models for community-led change in healthcare systems through our collective work, models we will further develop, study, and disseminate. I am humbled to be trusted as an ally and academic partner to this effort. We look forward to our second act together and will remain grateful for the ongoing support of institutions like MSU, which recognize the challenges and ethical imperatives of the engaged work that drives our collaboration. Thank you and congratulations to all of the other award winners. George.
Thank you. It is an honor to share this award with you, Dr. Robin Miller, on behalf of Impact Global Action for Gay Men's Health and Rights. Today, small community-based organizations like Impact struggle to find funding for what they do. Donors often want to see tangible proof that advocacy could lead to immediate change. Given their small budgets and funder-imposed demands, not to mention how difficult it is to evaluate advocacy interventions, small organizations like Impact often find themselves in a conundrum. This is especially true for organizations that implement advocacy programs. So when Dr. Miller approached me to explore my openness to having her join my team during her sabbatical to evaluate our work, I thought, wow, how lucky are we? Engaged research and scholarship are rare, as are researchers and scholars who are willing and able to respectfully embed themselves into community settings. Dr. Miller did so with great humility. She brought new ideas and introduced fit-for-purpose and scientifically rigorous evaluation methodologies to a tiny but mighty community-led organization and its partners. Dr. Miller's work never wavered from community-authored principles. She helped advocates across 7 countries learn to prove their worth with confidence and pride by teaching them to systematically document the outcomes of their efforts. Dr. Miller and her work were gifts to me and Impact, the agency I led for 11 years. Her leadership and contributions have been indelibly imprinted on the advocacy work of hundreds of activists across Africa and the Caribbean. The real honor here was the opportunity to work with and grow with Dr. Miller. And for this, I am forever grateful. Thank you.
Oh, that's so impressive. Please join me in congratulating the advocacy and other community tactics to challenge barriers to HIV cures for gay and bisexual men and transgender women.
And please join me in a final round of applause for all of these most worthy recipients. Today's award recipients represent a much larger number of colleagues who invest deeply in partnering with communities. The selection of recipients for the 2022 Distinguished Partnership Awards was made extremely difficult due to the high quality of all of this year's nominations. I would like to take a moment to acknowledge other scholars who were nominated and whose work is making a positive difference in communities near and far. They include Kelly Blank, College of Social Science for a public will campaign to end child sexual abuse with Traverse Bay Children's Advocacy Center Public Will Campaign. Jonathan Chodi, College of Arts and Letters for Sustainable Community Development in Tanzania with Naitolia Village, Monduli, Tanzania. Kristen Lambaran Sanchez, College of Social Science for Mentoring the Future with Capital Area Latina Youth, or CALY. Liz Owens Bolts, College of Education for College of Education and MAET's Remote Teaching Response Project with Godfrey Lee Public Schools and New Foundation Charter School. And Greg Tauscher, College of Communication Arts and Sciences for Dedication and Beyond with Decideware Development Proprietary Limited MSU with Northwestern. What a remarkable group of engaged scholars. 2022 marks the inaugural year for our next award. To describe and present it, I'd now like to introduce Marilyn J. Amy, Interim Associate Provost for Faculty and Academic Staff Development.
Thank you, Lori. The Institutional Champion Award for Community Engaged Scholarship is conferred in recognition of exemplary efforts by a university leader, faculty member, faculty team, or initiative to systematically encourage, nurture, and support scholarly community engagement by faculty, staff, and students. Recipients honored with this distinction have had a significant positive impact on the ability of others to engage with communities beyond campus, and in doing so have advanced the institutionalization of community engaged scholarship and university outreach at Michigan State University. This award is jointly sponsored by the offices of the Associate Provost for University Outreach and Engagement and the Associate Provost for Faculty and Academic Staff Development. Today, we recognize the many achievements of Stephen L. Esquith, Professor and Founding Dean of the Residential College in the Arts and Humanities, for his contributions to community engagement at MSU, and are pleased to honor him as the inaugural recipient of the Institutional Champion Award for Community Engaged Scholarship. Please join me in welcoming Stephen Esquith.
Thank you, Marilyn, and thank you, Lori Van Egren, Renee Brown, Burke Bargerstock, for your leadership in university outreach and engagement. I've benefited greatly from the institutional support for community engagement that you've provided over the years. And to Julie Krauge for setting up the Zoom call today. Let me also thank my colleagues, our students, and the alumni of the Residential College in the Arts and Humanities. Without their innovative work, community engagement in ARCA would not have become the exemplary success story it is today. Our community partners at home and abroad have played an equally important role in this story, and they are, I'm glad to say, too many to mention all by name. Today, community engagement in ARCA is organized as a network. Imagine a geodesic dome hovering above Snyder Phillips Hall, with enough room to include campus and off-campus partners. The network is held together by three values that function like struts of a geodesic dome. The first value, or strut, is sustained collaboration. Because of the structure of the network, it's connected, it's durable, and it's flexible. It's possible to do work no matter what the weather and which way the wind is blowing. The second value, or strut, is radical reciprocity. Sharing information and lessons learned also means that community engagement should benefit all parties in a very particular way. Our collaborative relationships with community partners are not transactional relationships, they're transformative. Each party sees how its interests are bound up with the interests of others, and how the interests of those who've been marginalized in the past can and should be compensated for past injustices. The third value, or strut, is what we call co-generative knowledge. The research and findings generated through community engagement should reflect the ways of knowing, of listening, and of speaking of all the partners. When it does, it can be of practical value to all concerned, and a truly radical form of reciprocity can be realized. This triangular ideal of community engagement is at the heart of ARCA, and we believe it can also be at the heart of a newly imagined land grant mission for MSU and public higher education in general. We believe that ARCA is proof of concept, and we're ready to scale out the model across a wider network based on the same interconnected values of sustainable collaboration, radical reciprocity, and the co-generation of new knowledge. That sounds a little like a campaign speech, so let me say a little bit more about what's behind these grand ambitions. On paper, ARCA began as a set of 3 concentric circles: the residence hall, the campus, and the wider community. We quickly put that original sketch into words and then into action. We coined the phrase building stories to describe our work. This clever double entendre, inspired by Studs Terkel's oral history working, meant that we create new stories together, and the stories are stories about our space. Building, in other words, is both a noun and a verb in ARCA. As we built, we discovered that part of what made teaching and learning inside our building and between buildings on campus was the energy and knowledge that we drew from community engagement. Today, in our community engagement pathway courses, students often can combine community engagement work with work typically done in the 3 other pathways in the curriculum: creative work, language and culture, or humanities. For example, they can do a creative, a language and culture, or a humanities option as part of their required work in community engagement. We see this blurring of boundaries between the community engagement pathway and other pathways happening in the other direction as well. We teach poetry in prison. You hear a siren, that's not that's not a problem. We teach poetry in prison and ceramics and drama in K-12 philosophy for kids classes. We build digital community archives to study the history of race and racism. We teach ethnography with community partners using photography, theater, and music. In other words, community engagement in ARCA is not a hurdle students must jump over to graduate. It's an orientation towards education that values different ways of knowing, the capability to listen to others closely, and the capability to hear our own voices with emotional honesty. It takes poise, not passive resilience. It requires balance, not nimble, fancy footwork. It honors change makers, not change managers. This inclusive and diverse conception of community engagement as an orientation towards teaching and learning is reflected in the variety of programs that now are flourishing under the ARCA geodesic dome. To take just one subset, for the past 5 years, the ARCA Network for Global Civic Engagement, funded by the MSU Federal Credit Union, has covered a wide range of programs, both locally and globally. These programs have included undergraduate research and teaching and learning programs in Michigan, in Costa Rica, in Tanzania, in Puerto Rico, and in Mali, among other places. The Global Network for Community Civic Engagement in ARCA has connected ARCA students and faculty with other MSU colleges and departments on campus, online and in the field. For example, the College of Engineering, the College of Agriculture and Natural Resources, the College of Education, and the College of Arts and Letters. It has brought partners from other parts of the world to MSU as visiting scholars and teachers, and they have hosted MSU in return. There are many champions for community engagement at MSU, as we've heard tonight. The awards given today are evidence that others outside ARCA's networks have visions similar to our own. I'm deeply grateful to receive this award, and I can prove it by holding it up. It's a gem. At a time when MSU is reimagining its mission as a land-grant institution. We have much to learn from each other. And as Charles Dickens might say, ARCA is willing, and now's the time. Thank you all.
Please join me in congratulating Dr. Esquith, a truly worthy recipient of the Institutional Champion Award for Community Engaged Scholarship. Congratulations.
Congratulations again to Stephen Esquith. Your contributions to community engaged work have been remarkable and set a high precedent for future recipients of this award. Our final award of the ceremony is the Michigan State University Community Engagement Scholarship Lifetime Achievement Award, which recognizes individuals for outstanding and sustained accomplishment in community engaged scholarship through the research, creative activity, teaching, and/or service or practice over the span of a career. I do know that by heart. I just freaked out a little bit. Given the special nature of this distinction, it's not intended to be an annual award, but will be conferred only on those occasions in which the extraordinary accomplishments of an engaged scholar so warrant it. Today is such an occasion, and those accomplishments belong to Gordon Henry Jr. College of Arts and Letters. We've asked representative community partners of Gordon to say a few words about his accomplishments and career as an engaged scholar. Please join me in welcoming Nathan Lambertson, Zibwing Center of Anishinaabe Culture and Lifeways, and Lisa Tiger Martin, Gun Lake Tribe Tribal Historic Preservation Office.
Well, greetings, my friends and relatives. I thank the great spirit of God on this good day, for the opportunity to come together with you all and recognize the works of so many people. My name is Nathan Lambertson. I work for and am a member of the Saginaw Chippewa Indian Tribe of Michigan, born of the Whitefish Clan. It's my honor to speak to you briefly on behalf of Dr. Gordon Henry and his family. When Dr. Henry called to ask me to speak here tonight, my initial reaction, true to form, was, to give the poor man some grief. I said, Lifetime Achievement Award, holy, are you pushing you out to pasture? You can't possibly be that old, can you? But, in hanging up the phone, I began to reflect, sincerely on, what was taking place here tonight. Before me in my thoughts was a man that I met on the MSU campus as a know-nothing freshman 25 years ago. And I began to think about all the things that Gordon has stood for in my life. I reflected on the things that he has written. I thought about the places that his scholarship has taken him, on the students that his words and works have reached. I considered the communities to which he's traveled and impacted. I thought about my own tribe's college, the existence of which is owed largely to Dr. Henry and the work of others. Now, I recalled stories and films from the students who attended the summer youth experiences that we hosted when I worked with him at the Native American Institute. I thought about the stories and the voices that may otherwise be lost from Indian country, if not for engagement projects like Indigenous Story. I then considered the number of thoughts and writings and expressions that he's inspired in others. And I was taken aback at just how many there must be over these years. And then I thought, man, this guy really has been doing this a long time. He is old. But said more appropriately, he's an elder. In our culture, one doesn't become an elder by simply accumulating a prescribed number of years. One can't become an elder just by attaining or accumulating knowledge. In order to become an elder, one must gain the trust of the people through service. One must prove the bravery of their wisdom in defense of others. One must be able to transmit their knowledge intergenerationally. One has to demonstrate our values, our traditions, and our ceremonies, and encourage ways to perpetuate them in others. All without avarice, without ego, without expectation of recognition. Although it's a term that he's going to be uncomfortable with, Gordon Henry is an elder of the people. That's part of what we're recognizing here tonight. I'm sure that he would feel it's a term, more reserved for people like many Eagle Set or Eagle Heart or Francis Cree or Louis Cree. But that's what's being recognized here today. He and his family that have loved and supported him have made an incalculable contribution to this world, just as the elders that came before him have. Although the university has performed it in different ways or called it by different names, outreach as an operational term joined the MSU vernacular just a handful of years before Dr. Henry. According to the 1993 report by the Provost's Committee on University Outreach, they identified the term as being chosen in 1990 as an encompassing way for MSU to describe how it extends knowledge and resources to society. In our language, the Anishinaabe language, we have something very much similar to the word outreach. We call the people that take on this type of work, we call them Ashkabewis. Theirs is the work that engages communities. Theirs is the work that brings the ideas of others forward. Theirs is the work that blends knowledge and ways of knowing. And the results of their deeds are what we collectively as a community can hold forth as wisdom. So I stand with you all today in recognition of Dr. Gordon Henry Jr. for his work in pursuit of wisdom and for his example at being an Ashkabewis. Miigwech.
Wow, Nate, way to make it hard on me. Bonjour. Wapska Magizi Queen Dishnikas, Muskogi and Dow, Binishi and Dodem. My name is Lisa Martin. I work with the Mashi Benashi Wish Band of Potawatomi in the Tribal Historic Preservation Office. Miigwech for inviting me to share some words about Dr. Gordon Henry Jr. Dr. Henry's scholarship is deeply rooted in his absolute love of community and of people with a constellation of experiences, stories, and his devotion to making the world a more engaged place through collaboration and unity. His work inspires student learning and creative growth and challenges colleagues and partners to think creatively and to not be constrained by perceived notions of how the world works. I've had the pleasure of working with him on digital archiving projects of Anishinaabe stories, songs, and written works. This work is deeply important, especially in light of the pandemic, as it increases access to our sacred knowledges in a time when we could not gather to share stories as we would. It allows for those who are not privileged, as Nate and I have been, to have direct access with our traditional teachers and contemporary authors. It is truly unifying work, and I would even say an act of cultural reclamation. Another of his great passions is working tirelessly to ensure that Anishinaabe remains a living language, and he has mentored me on that over the course of my career. With his input when I worked for another tribe as a grant writer, our team wrote many successful language grants related to immersion and intergenerational community member learning opportunities. He continually comes up with innovative pathways to engage Native and non-Native people in long-term projects that have vision and sustainability. You may be familiar with his writing. If you aren't, you will not be disappointed. The collected works are available on Amazon. His works tell true, humorous, beautiful, and sometimes painfully honest stories of Anishinaabe life. Novels, poetry, and everything in between show the depth of his creative expression. I have my favorites, but I am greatly looking forward to the new book coming out. But I would like to tell you something else about this complex man. He is my ceremonial leader, having been so for over 20 years. At ceremony, we just call him Gordy. I have seen him do amazing things for the people. And I feel that he has taught me to do my very best and to give my all. He has challenged me to be brave and to be humble. Just before the pandemic broke, a truly beautiful thing happened. Gordy worked with members of a Michigan tribe to bring back to their homelands a ceremony that nobody could ever remember having there. But this is what he does. He brings people together. He shows them what they can do, what they never thought they could do. So I am very happy that he is receiving this much deserved honor. In his scholarship, his creativity, his teaching, you see evidence of his absolute love for his culture. He truly talks the talk and walks the walk. So again, miigwech for the opportunity to participate in honoring this great man.
I guess I don't need to say anything else, but I will. Ani ngakina gimiigwech. Iwegu gamijang o gishgad. Ishimadu gimiigwech iwegu gamijang ishi bimadizang. Nindana ma tanan gegu gagishen and daman. Get tikanu and dishnakas. Anishinaabe and Dao. Makodorum and Dao, White Earth and Donjiba. I want to say thanks for this great day that we have. I have said, and now I'm going to speak Niwe Kadu Jaganashimo. I'm going to speak in the English language now. Not a fluent speaker of Ojibwe, but at my age, I'm still trying to learn. Miigwech MSU Outreach and Engagement, Dr. Van Eggeren, Bert and Julie, Jara, Renee, MSU OE staff for this great event, for this award, for acknowledging the energy and effort I've tried to offer in support of my relations in American Indian communities. I'm humbled and honored to receive this award, and I congratulate all of you who have been honored here today. You're doing amazing work, and I'm honored to share this day with you. May you continue with such good work in the spirit of creation. Laguna Pueblo writer Leslie Silko reminds us in her book Ceremony, it takes a lot of energy to be a human being. I hope some of the energy I've given in my life and work has energized others as well. In a similar conceptual spirit of reflection, Native elders from Canada, in collaboration with scholars from Canada, offered the following bit of wisdom in a book titled The Sacred Tree, published in the mid-1980s. That book tells us values are the ways human beings pattern and use energy. Well, I have used my time and work as knowledge here to create and establish good life connections and initiatives with many communities over the years. I believe that this is always something that I will do as long as I live and continue to do. And as an enrolled member of the White Earth Anishinaabe Nation, I believe I was born into an understanding of the importance of acknowledging, supporting, and working in and with tribal communities as those communities, our communities, strive for Bimadizwin, a good life of Anishinaabe well-being. That said, it has also been an honor for me to be part of the MSU community as well. I'm proud to be a Spartan and carry that Spartan spirit in my love for my time at MSU and the great opportunities MSU has afforded me in my affiliation with the university. That's not to say I haven't gone through some struggles. We struggle in almost everything we do, but this too is part of our learning, and it's helped me to understand myself better to go through those struggles. Fortunately for me, I also have a good family behind me, a beautiful patient partner, my life partner, Marianne, my beautiful daughters, Kaylee, Mira, and Emily. My son-in-laws, Corey and CJ, and I've been blessed with three beautiful granddaughters as well, Eliana, Cora, and Kyla. They have been an inspiration to me in my work in life. I'm also thankful for my Thirsty Dance community, the inspiration and deep committed friendships that ceremony has brought, as evidenced here in the presence of my lifelong friends, ceremonial relatives, Nathan and Lisa. They are strong sources of support for me and others. But I can't accept any reward. I would be remiss in that if I did not mention my relatives, some of whom are still living, many of whom have passed on. When I find myself honored publicly, as in this moment, I think back to the inspiration and support of my parents, grandparents, aunts, and uncles. My grandmother, Irene Visner, was one of the first Indian school teachers in the state of Minnesota. My grandfather, Joseph Visner, was tribal manager at White Earth, and he resisted DNR officers in Minnesota when they came after him for not having a hunting license. He knew his treaty rights, and he fought as an Anishinaabe for those rights, saying he did not need a state license. He fought the charges against him. I think also of my grandfather, Sam Henry, who died young, who's mentioned in a book titled American Indian Boxers in Minnesota. I think of my grandmother, Marie Burnett, who went to boarding school at Pipestone, Minnesota, and her mother, my great-grandmother, Susan Bellinger Burnett, who was one of the first Indian students in Minnesota to go to boarding school in the 1890s. And I must recall my Aunt Paulette Fairbanks, who was the first American Indian graduate from the University of Minnesota. As a child, when I would go back to the reservation and visit, I would see Paulette studying late into the night, trying to finish her degree. And I think also of my mother, who was honored as one of the most influential women in Michigan at an award ceremony during the Michigan Sesquicentennial. She was honored for her social justice work and her tireless advocacy for Native students in public schools and for a host of Indian education initiatives. I think of my father, who passed from cancer 23 years ago, who left the White Earth Reservation to join the Navy in 1951, who left not only the family and relatives, but he left opportunity behind. Baseball scholarship offers from colleges in Minnesota. He eventually distinguished himself as a basketballer when he was selected to the All-Pacific Fleet Team in 1960. He too worked in tribal communities upon his retirement from the Navy. And I also think of my father's brother, my Uncle Bill Henry, who passed on a year or so ago. He's a remarkable man. I think of how he and my Aunt Judy became foster parents for American Indian children, parenting as they did with kindness and generosity, children in need of a home. Doing that into old age. I think of their energy, of the gifts of their lives, seemingly ordinary, but remarkable beyond anything I could claim as accomplishment. I also think of Francis and Rose and Louis Cree, my North Dakota relatives who taught me about ceremonies, gave me stories, transmitted songs, and moved me to laughing even in the most serious of situations, which I probably need now. At this moment, I am grateful, humbled, and thankful for this good life, for the gifts I've been given here through my relation to MSU and through my life with family, friends, students, and university colleagues, Jiatsna Singh, Salah Hassan, Arthur Versluis. And before I close, I just want to say, tell a short story. When I was 10 years old, I would often go stay with my great-grandparents on the White Earth Reservation. They lived in a small shack with no running water, no indoor plumbing. And once when I was a boy of 10 years old, my grandmother gave me a plate of food. And she told me to bring it to an old man who was staying in another one of their small little shacks, tar paper dwellings on the reservation. I went inside with that plate of food, and there was an old man sitting there at a table. I didn't know who he was never told his name. When I came into that room with that food, the old man smiled at me. I will never forget that old man, the smile, that lesson of hospitality my great-grandmother gave me, teaching me how to serve others. As it's given me now, this award must always be remembered as a gift from the people I've mentioned here, and the many more I must acknowledge in the reception of this award. This is another instance how every honor we might receive is an acknowledgement of the deep and abiding spirit of one's relations, of our relations. Again, thanks for this award. but I have to tell you, I'm not done yet. Miigwech kakina. Miigwech. Thank you all.
Gonna.
What an extraordinary tribute to our honoree, to the communities in which he's centered, and to the ancestors, family, and friends who led him to this path. Congratulations again, Gordon. Please join me in giving a final round of applause to all of our award winners this evening. I would like to thank each of you for attending the Michigan State University Outreach and Engagement Awards ceremony. Your participation honors our colleagues, their community partners, and our shared efforts to address challenges and improve the quality of life for all. Thank you to the Pure Winds Quintet for the entertainment provided at the start of our program. They're an award-winning woodwind quintet based in Lansing, Michigan, formed on the campus of Michigan State University by graduate music students. And lastly, I want to give a special thank you to our presenters and to the dedicated staff at University Outreach and Engagement, Bert Bargerstock, Julie Krauge, and many others who make this ceremony possible. We hope to see you in person next February for the 2020, I say that again, in person, for the 2023 Michigan State University Outreach and Engagement Awards ceremony. Have a nice evening.